Welcome to the Eczema Warrior podcast. I'm your host, Julia Chen. I'm here to help you heal your eczema naturally so you can finally live your best damn life. Many years ago in my own eczema healing journey, I was stuck and confused on how to heal my skin. Fast forward to today, after many lessons learned and lots of trial and error, I'm now living my best life and traveling the world with clearer skin. If you're an eczema or TSW warrior who desires a life of food freedom and is wanting to heal your skin without steroids while using mindset and manifestation as a tool, you're in the right place. Now let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of the Eczema Warrior podcast. Guys, I am on a cruise. You probably heard me talk about it last week, that when the podcast episode for last week got released, that I would be on the cruise. And I am on a cruise right now. And this cruise is a 10 or 11 day trip around Europe. And so far, I've been in Rome and Naples. And then today, as I'm recording this podcast episode, we're actually in Florence. So I'm very excited. After I record this episode, I'm going to go to the town and check out some cafes and walk around and chill. And then there's a bunch of other places that the cruise is going around to. So a couple cities in Spain, a couple cities in France, I believe. And then the cruise ends off in Portugal. And then after Portugal, I'm going to another country, which I'm really excited to share with you guys. I'm actually going to be doing a big life update. A lot has been going on over the past, I would say 2 weeks, even longer than that, to be honest. But I would say the last 2 weeks has become very intense. And I'm actually going to create an episode just about the life update. So if you want to hear all about that, then tune in for next week's podcast episode. So in today's episode, I actually want to talk about a story. In particular, it's an experience that I went through last year that was honestly life-changing at that moment. And it just solidified the power of manifestation and the power of believing in yourself and myself, I guess, because this situation happened to me. And the belief of the universe and angels and whoever is the higher power that you look up to is to believe that they're actually there. So I'm going to call this the LadyBug Story because it truly, really is. So where do I even begin? So last year, I went through a really hard time with business. For those of you who run businesses, you know there are times where you feel like giving up, you feel like things aren't working. It can really get in your head. And when you're running a business, it's not just about building a business and serving your clients and, that you call it a day. There's so much more behind the scenes. You're learning about all these platforms, all these things, and you learn about how to not get your thoughts to impact your business because oftentimes we think that things aren't working or we don't know if the next client's going to come through and you get in your head about it. And it's just a very long process. I would say journey, actually. It's a journey when it comes to running a business. And there's a lot of personal growth and mindset growth that happens in business that a lot of people don't really know. And it's not always rainbows and unicorns. And there's a lot of challenges that comes along with running a business. You literally have to learn everything by yourself. And it can take hours. Like I remember trying to learn how to use Elementor, which is this website platform. And I would spend hours and work till 4 or 5 in the morning just trying to figure out how to use it and how to manage all these invoices and finances. And it just gets so much, especially at the beginning of business. So anyways, last year, I was going through a really hard time with my business. I felt that I wasn't doing the right thing and I felt that I was failing and I felt that I was, nobody wanted to work with me and that I had to just give up. And I remember that time I was also going through a flare because I just got out of a long-term relationship. So for those of you who don't know, last year, Phil and I broke up and Phil and I dated for about 3.5 years. So we broke up in early spring last year. And after that, it was obviously very hard because when you get out of a long-term relationship, it's not going to be easy, especially since, Phil and I are still friends actually today. We didn't end things off badly. It was just that we were just not vibing anymore and we wanted to part ways. So anyways, that was really hard for me, and it was really stressful because Phil and I actually lived together. And so I obviously had to move out and find a place to live, didn't know where to go, and was also binge drinking because during that time, I honestly just took every opportunity to go out with my friends and go out with people and live my single life. So I literally was drinking every single weekend. So of course, with all of that, I went through a flare, and that flare lasted pretty much all summer. And then when June came around, I wasn't doing too well in terms of my business, but in retrospect, I was actually doing fine. It was literally just my mindset and my scarcity mindset and me thinking things aren't working when it really was. So at that time, when I was really struggling, I was, crying a lot on a lot of days and just didn't know where I was going with my life. Oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional thinking about it because I'm feeling like this is exactly what I'm going through right now. It's another life-changing experience that I'm experiencing right now as I'm recording this episode. And it's actually the same thing that happened last year, which astrologically, I've been reading a lot about astrology. My best friend is literally a psychic. It makes a lot of sense. What's happening this year is a reflection of last year. Anyways, okay, going back to last year, when I was going through a really hard time and crying a lot, I saw an email pop up in my inbox. And I don't know if you guys know the manifestation babe. She is literally the guru when it comes to manifestation. Her name is Catherine Zankina, and she literally teaches people how to manifest, and she literally has manifested so many things in her life, and she's just this person that I really look up to, and she's famous basically on Instagram. And so I'm subscribed to her emails, and an email came up in my inbox. I forget the title of it, but it definitely was eye-catching. It was something along the lines of, ask the universe when you want something. And so I opened the email and I read it. And she's honestly so good with writing emails. It always just gets to my heart. The things that she says just make sense. So she was saying how, sometimes or a lot of times us as humans, we feel lost, right? We get lost with what to do with our career. We get lost in our relationships. We get lost in our minds. We get lost in our business. And, you can always ask for help and seek coaches, therapists. All of that's obviously very important when it comes to finding direction. But, not everyone can have the ability to do that, especially because a lot of these things cost money and, financial resources, et cetera, et cetera. And so she says, for those of you who believe in manifestation and mindset, and of course, I'm subscribed to her email and I'm so big on it, I'm going to listen to what she's going to say. She's like, one thing that I've actually loved to do, especially when I want a sign from the universe that things are going to be okay, or I want a sign that, I'm on the right track and that just trust myself, is to ask the universe for a particular sign. And that sign can literally be anything. It could be a number, you want to see the number 222 for the next week. You want to see a particular animal. You want to see a particular insect. You want to see a particular object, whatever it is that is significant to you. And it doesn't have to be significant. It could just be anything that's specific. She really emphasized that, the sign that you ask from the universe has to be very specific. So at that time, I'm okay. And she was saying how, okay, once you ask for the sign, and if it shows up, which it will, this is literally the universe telling you that everything is going to be okay. And obviously, when you're asking for the sign too, you also have to be specific as to why you're asking for the sign and what you need support with. So for me, I randomly chose a ladybug. I don't know, it just came into my mind. I'm like, ladybug, that's what I want my sign to be. And I didn't know what to expect from it, but I knew that I wanted to see a ladybug to let me know that everything was going to be okay, that my business was going to be okay. I'm literally getting emotional. Oh my gosh. Okay. Because it's such a beautiful story. That my business was going to be okay, that even though I didn't get clients that month of the year, it means that, more clients are going to come in the next few months. It doesn't mean my business is failing. Abundance is coming. my eczema flare is going to get better and I'm just going to do a lot better despite going through this breakup. And, universe, please send me a ladybug sign. I would really appreciate it if you can just put me towards the right direction and just show me that it's going to be okay and to continue trusting myself. Because I really at that time was really struggling. I just felt like could not trust myself despite the meditations and all of the journaling that I would try to do at that time. So I remember saying it aloud, literally speaking it aloud to myself. I want to see a ladybug to let me know that things are going to be okay. I also journaled about it, writing down that, I want to see a ladybug. This is what I'm asking, universe, please send me the sign. And then after I did that, I just let it go. I remember in that email, Catherine also said, you asked for the sign and you just release the control and just let it happen. It might not happen right away. It might happen a few months down the road, but, just don't put a timeline to it. So I'm like, okay, let me just ask for the sign and just see how it goes. And I remember I asked for the sign the last week of June. Okay, and I thought about it for that week. 4 weeks later, you won't believe this. 4 weeks later, I'm out and about. I don't remember exactly what I was doing that day. Maybe out with my friends or whatever. And I came home and it was about, I would say late afternoon, evening time. And at that time, I lived in my sister's apartment and I had my own room and my own bathroom. And I would always leave my room door closed, just to keep, because my room door is open to the living room, so I just kept it closed. And the bathroom, I always kept closed as well. So anyways, so I go into my room and, I'm just chilling, not really doing anything. I go to the washroom and I hear this buzzing noise. And I'm like, oh my gosh, of course it's a freaking fly. Because it was summertime and I think it was during a very hot time. It was a heat wave or whatever, if I remember correctly. Anyways, it was hot. So I did have my window of my bedroom open, but not wide open. It's one of those windows where you just kind of crack open a little bit. And I'm like, oh my gosh, of course it's a freaking fly. It's so loud and it's buzzing. And I'm I could hear it, but I couldn't see it. And I'm like, okay, let me get a towel and try to kill this fly somehow. And I hate bugs, by the way, you guys. Bugs that aren't pretty, I'm I can't stand it. So I'm hearing this fly and I'm trying to find it in my bathroom. And my bathroom is tiny, okay? It's very small. So I'm bound to see this fly at some point. So then I see this black little thing. And I'm like, oh my God, there it is. So then I start smacking it. I literally grab my towel and I'm trying to smack this thing. Then I'm like, wait. Is this a fly? And then it lands on the wall. And I look up because it's top of the wall. I look up and I look closely and I'm like, oh my fucking God. It is a fucking ladybug. It's a fucking ladybug. And you guys, I literally lost my shit. Because I knew at that moment when I saw that, I was like, this is a motherfucking sign from the universe. And I know that for a fact. When you just know things that deep in your gut, you just know that this is it. That was that moment. And not only this, the last time I saw a ladybug was freaking 10 years ago. Okay. Maybe when I was younger, but I chose a specific sign that I knew I wouldn't see very often. And that was it. That was the time that I saw the fucking ladybug. And there aren't a lot of ladybugs in Vancouver. I don't see them. I haven't seen one in million years. And so when I saw that ladybug, I was my heart literally sank. I was like, oh my God, this is the universe sending me the sign that I asked for 3 weeks ago. The universe literally heard me and was like, Julia, I'm here for you. Angels, whatever. We're here for you. And we heard that you really need support and you needed a sign. And this is the sign that I'm going to show you. And that night, I literally bawled my eyes out. I cried so hard. And I'm about to fucking cry now. I cried so hard because it was such a challenging time for me. And it might sound silly, you need a ladybug to validate how you're feeling. But honestly, in that moment, I needed something. Okay. I needed something because nothing felt like was working, and I just needed a sign that I could ask for from the universe. And the universe showed up and supported me and gave me the trust in myself again that things were going to be okay. And honestly, from that moment, that experience really solidified my belief when it comes to manifestation and trusting the universe. And even before that, I always did. But when you see something in front of your eyes come true like that, and it's specific, and you're asking for it, and you're struggling, and you want it, but you're not controlling the need for it, and it happens right in front of your eyes, it's really a life-changing experience. And I will never forget the story because it has literally, honestly, changed my life and changed the way that I see the universe, changed the way that I just, when I'm struggling nowadays, I just know things are going to be okay. And if it's not going to be okay and I feel like it's not going to be okay, then I can always ask for that sign. That being said, do the signs always show up? Not all the time. You don't always ask for a sign and, like a sign comes up and everything's going to be great. I think it's really in those moments when I'm like, fuck, I'm really struggling. Like, I really don't know what to do. And the universe can feel that. Like, we live in an energetic world. Like, they can feel how you're feeling. They can see how you're feeling too. And they can hear you. Like, there's always spirits and angels around you, right? So they know what's happening. They know if you're struggling. And, when you ask for help, when you need it, and you just want some kind of sign, just ask for it, okay? Just ask for it. Be specific with what you're asking for, and it'll come to you. And that could be the way out in maybe the struggles you're experiencing right now. And I encourage all of you guys to take this story and podcast episode and try to implement it into your own manifestation routine, because it really has changed my life. And honestly, I'm probably going to do this again and ask for a sign to make sure things are okay. But I know this time around, despite going through another life-changing experience, I know that it wasn't as hard as last year for sure. So I don't feel like the deep need to ask for the ladybug sign, but I know that when I'm really struggling and I really feel stuck, then that's something I can do. And yeah, that's basically the ladybug story of what happened last year in the summertime. Oh, and before, actually, this is really important. So after I saw that ladybug, literally 2 months later, everything started to fall in place. I started getting clients. More money started coming through. I started to feel better. My skin started healing. Everything was slowly getting better. And of course, I knew that. I knew deep in my soul, everything always gets better. Any pain that you're experiencing is always temporary. So I knew it was going to get better. But like seeing that ladybug and then seeing how everything worked out 2 months later, it was like, okay, yeah, the ladybug showed me that things were going to be okay. I just need to push through and trust myself continuously. So I just wanted to let you guys know like what happened after asking for a sign and wanting things to be okay. And in fact, it did. Everything was fine. A couple months later, obviously it took more work. I didn't just sit around. I, continued to work on myself, work on my business, heal and focus on me, and everything slowly started to get better. So that's basically what happened from the ladybug story. And that's what I have for today's episode. I had a sudden download to want to share this experience with you guys. I did share it last year, of course, when it happened on my Instagram story. So for those of you who heard it, then you're hearing it again. And for those of you who are just finding me on this episode or this podcast and you're just hearing the story, I really, really hope it inspired you in any way to, keep going, to ask for signs. And yeah, I still have the chills whenever I think about the story. And I did get emotional because it was a very emotional experience for me last year. And yeah, I'm very excited to share a big life update in next week's episode. If you want to learn or hear more about the tea and the behind the scenes and what's been going on in my life, then we're going to do an episode on that. And I love you guys so much. If you enjoyed any of my podcast episodes, please leave me a review. It's going to help me so much with the podcast. And obviously, when the podcast grows, it's going to help reach other people who might even need help with their eczema healing and mindset and manifestation. And lastly, if you want to work with me, you know where to find me. I have my group coaching program, Clear Eczema. I also do one-on-one coaching as well, and we're taking new clients. If you want to work with me and you need help with root causes, diet, supplements, all the things when it comes to healing your skin, you can apply in the show notes below, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. Now, before I let you go, I want to let you know I have this amazing eczema visualization. This visualization has helped me so much when it comes to manifesting eczema healing flares faster than I can ever imagine, reducing the itch, and just feeling great in my body. This is the exact same visualization I use for my own healing as well as my clients' healing as well. And if you want to receive this visualization, then all you have to do is leave us a review and tell us what you think about the podcast, screenshot it, send it to your email at hello@juliachin.ca, and you will receive the visualization to your inbox. I look forward to seeing your review, and we will see you in the next episode.